The message from the void darkness ruled the edges of the galaxy. Stars blinked like tiny sparks against the endless black. For hundreds of years, the great alien races of the Galactic Concord had believed the small blue world called Earth was silent, weak, and forgotten. Their old records marked humans as a primitive species who destroyed their own planet. No one had spoken the name Earth in ages. Then, one quiet cycle, a signal arrived. It came from beyond the outer rim, riding through static and cosmic dust. The transmission was strange, made of tones and code that no machine could fully read. The signal carried only one simple sentence in clear standard galactic: "We are ready to talk." At first, the Concord Council thought it was a joke. Many signals drifted through the void, lost echoes from dead worlds. But this one was different. It was strong, precise, and repeated every 7 hours. Every time it repeated, it grew louder, closer. Curiosity spread through the capital world of Asterion Prime. Scientists whispered about the lost humans. Commanders laughed at the idea of Earthlings contacting anyone. But when their scanners traced the signal, disbelief turned into quiet fear. The message came from the Sol system, from the exact coordinates of Earth. A meeting was called inside the Great Hall of Species. Dozens of leaders floated, crawled, or stood across the shining floor. The Sarathi, tall silver-skinned diplomats, offered peace. The scaled warriors of Varn wanted to investigate. The insectoid Cathel only hissed, "If they still live, we must remind them who rules the stars." After long debate, the Concord sent an envoy fleet to make contact. It was supposed to be a mission of peace. 3 vessels were chosen: the Sarathi cruiser Aurora, the Varn battleship Drakkar, and the Cathel scout Nishta. Together they traveled through deep space, guided by the mysterious transmission that pulsed like a heartbeat from the solar system. Days turned to weeks. The signal continued, always steady. But as the ships approached the edge of the system, strange readings began to appear on their sensors. Massive objects surrounded Jupiter, hundreds of them, each the size of a small moon. The Sarathi captain frowned. "Asteroids, perhaps," he said. The Varn commander's eyes glowed red. "Those are not rocks. Their pattern is deliberate." Then, without warning, one of the moons moved. It drifted smoothly, almost lazily, changing position. The scanners screamed. "Energy readings off the scale." The alien ship slowed, afraid to move closer. Suddenly, a deep voice filled every communication channel at once. It was calm, human, and full of authority. "Unidentified vessels, you are entering Terran Dominion space. Identify yourselves immediately." The bridge of every ship fell silent. The Cathel hissed in panic, their claws tapping against control panels. The Sarathi ambassador whispered, "Terran Dominion? What is that?" No one had ever heard those words before. The voice repeated, this time colder. "Identify or be neutralized." The alien fleet quickly sent a reply. "This is a diplomatic mission from the Galactic Concord. We come in peace. We received your message." For a few seconds there was only static. Then the human voice answered again. "Message received. You will proceed to Earth under escort. Do not deviate from your path." Moments later, the aliens watched as 3 black shapes emerged from the shadow of Jupiter. The ships were nothing like Concord design. They were sharp, triangular, and moved with impossible grace. Their hulls absorbed light itself. No thrusters, no visible engines, just silent motion. The Sarathi captain whispered, "They are beautiful." The Varn commander muttered, "They are weapons." The human ships took formation around the envoy fleet, 1 ahead, 2 behind. Instantly, the alien navigation systems locked onto a fixed course. Every attempt to steer away failed. The alien crews could only watch as the black ships pulled them toward the inner system. As they passed Mars, the aliens saw something terrifying. The red planet glowed with city lights. Entire valleys shimmered with energy fields. Gigantic towers stretched through thin atmosphere, blinking in rhythm, alive, occupied. The Sarathi ambassador could hardly breathe. "They have colonized Mars." The Cathel captain hissed, "Impossible. Their world was dying last we checked." But it was true. Mars was alive. So was Luna. Even the empty void between planets shimmered with unseen networks. Humanity had not only survived, they had expanded. When the fleet finally neared Earth, all 3 alien crews stood in silence. The blue planet below looked peaceful from orbit, but around it hung a ring of massive space stations, each glowing with contained suns. Ships moved in perfect formation, thousands of them, creating patterns that no alien computer could predict. One of the escorts transmitted again. "Welcome to Sol, the Council is expecting you." The aliens looked at one another. They had come to teach peace to a forgotten race, to offer guidance to a young world. Yet now they could feel it in their bones. They were the ones being guided, watched, measured. The Varn commander finally spoke, voice trembling. "What if we have come to meet our rulers instead of our students?" No one answered. Outside, the Earth rotated slowly, beautiful and terrible under the glow of its own defense grid. And far above, the first envoy of the Galactic Concord realized the truth written in the silence of space. Humanity had never been gone. They had only been waiting. The guardians of Sol, the alien envoys, followed the silent human escorts through the dark of space, their hearts filled with confusion and fear. None of them spoke. Even the Cathel, known for their endless hissing chatter, stayed quiet. Outside their viewports, 3 black Terran ships glided without sound, their hulls reflecting no light, their engines unseen. The Sarathi ambassador whispered, "How are they moving?" "There are no drives, no warp rings," the Varn commander grunted. "They are using something beyond our understanding. This is not travel. This is control." The fleet passed the orbit of the moon. But the aliens froze when they saw it. Luna was no longer gray and empty. It shined like a mirror covered with glass domes, lights, and movement. Thousands of ships moved between the domes in perfect formation, like insects obeying a single mind. Luna City population. "Classified," said a human voice over comms, smooth and calm. "Remain in your vessels. Scanners are prohibited." The Sarathi captain gasped. "They know we tried to scan." The voice replied instantly, as if hearing his thought. "Yes, we know." Silence filled the bridge. Every alien officer sat frozen. The humans were reading their systems in real time. The Varn commander's thick claws tapped nervously on his console. "If they wanted to, they could destroy us before we blink." The human voice spoke again. "Approaching Earth. Prepare for gravity lock. Do not resist the pull." And suddenly every ship jerked forward as invisible power grabbed them. The escorts did not move closer. Yet somehow the alien ships drifted down toward the blue planet like feathers caught in a breeze. No energy fields. No tractor beams, just gravity obeying their command. From the windows, Earth grew large and bright. Continents glittered with lights. Oceans reflected fleets of massive orbital stations. But the most shocking sight was the line of colossal structures floating above the clouds, dark towers connected by glowing bridges. "They built cities in the sky," whispered the Cathel envoy. "No," said the Sarathi. "They built fortresses." Their ships descended through soft layers of cloud until they reached a floating platform above the Pacific Ocean. Waiting there were rows of human soldiers in black armor, each one standing perfectly still, eyes hidden behind dark visors. No movement, no sound. Only presence. The aliens were escorted out of their ships. The air smelled strange, clean, cold, and sharp. Every step echoed. Ahead stood a tall human man wearing a silver uniform. His face was calm, but his eyes looked old. Older than any human should be. "I am Admiral Reyes," he said. "Welcome to Earth. You have traveled far." The Sarathi ambassador bowed politely. "We come in peace, Admiral. The Galactic Concord received your signal and wishes too." The Admiral raised a hand gently. "Yes, I know. You came to offer peace, guidance, and perhaps control." He smiled faintly. "You think we need it?" The alien delegation exchanged nervous looks. The Cathel clicked their mandibles. "Your planet was isolated for thousands of cycles. The Concord believed you extinct, yet you have grown." Admiral Reyes stepped aside and motioned to the horizon. As the clouds parted, the aliens saw it. Massive floating stations, hundreds of kilometers wide, each glowing with energy. Around them, smaller crafts darted like sparks of light. "Earth was never isolated," Reyes said. "We simply stopped answering calls." The Varn commander crossed his arms. "You built all this." In silence, Reyes turned his eyes toward the stars. "Silence teaches patience. Patience builds empires." The aliens fell quiet. The words carried weight far beyond pride. There was history, pain, and warning inside them. As they entered a grand hall made of black glass and white metal, the aliens noticed something chilling. The walls were alive with light, data streams moving faster than thought. Symbols and languages flashed across them. Languages of the Sarathi, Varn, Cathel, and dozens more. Every code, every encryption, already known by humanity. At the end of the hall stood a holographic map of the Milky Way. Small blue lights marked the conquered territories. Then with a faint hum, thousands of red dots appeared, each one pulsing slowly. The Sarathi ambassador stepped forward, confused. What are those red lights? Reyes looked at him calmly. Those are Terran outposts. The aliens froze. The dots covered half the galaxy. They had been surrounded all along. You have colonies? The Cathel asked in disbelief. Not colonies, Reyes replied softly. Observers. The Varn commander slammed his fist against his armored chest. Why hide this from the conquered? Reyes stared into his eyes. Because we wanted you to believe you were free. For a long moment, no one spoke. The aliens could hear only the low hum of the great hall, the pulse of energy through the walls, and the faint rhythm that sounded like a heartbeat. Then, slowly, the holographic map changed. The red lights merged into the shape of a human hand closing around the galaxy. Reyes's voice was calm, almost gentle. The Terran Dominion does not seek war. But peace must be protected. The envoys felt the air grow heavy. Every instinct told them the same thing. Earth was no longer a single world. It was an empire hidden beneath kindness. The Sarathi ambassador whispered, trembling. Admiral, if you command the stars, what do you want from us? Reyes looked at him for a long moment, then smiled faintly. We want you to remember who built them. The hidden history. The hall was silent. The alien envoys could hear their own hearts beating. Admiral Reyes stood before the glowing holographic map, his eyes calm but sharp like steel. Behind him, the red dots still pulsed across the stars, each one representing a Terran outpost hidden inside the galaxy. The Sarathi ambassador finally found his voice. How is this possible? Humanity was forgotten. The archives say your world was destroyed during the resource wars. No ships left Earth, no colonies survived. Reyes turned slowly toward the group. The archives say what we wanted them to say. Those words hit the aliens like a blade. The Cathel envoy hissed loudly. You faked your extinction? Reyes nodded once. We had to. After the First Galactic War, when your Concord forces bombed our colonies and called us a danger to peace, we learned a painful truth. The galaxy fears what it does not control. So we gave you what you wanted, a dead Earth. The lights in the hall dimmed. The walls shimmered and images appeared, holographic recordings from ages past. They saw burning cities under alien bombardment, human ships falling in flames, and entire worlds wiped clean. The Sarathi ambassador stepped back, his silver skin pale with shame. You did this? He whispered to the Cathel and Varn commanders. None of them answered. Reyes continued. When the smoke cleared, we erased ourselves. The few who survived retreated behind the Sol barrier, a field of dark energy strong enough to blind your sensors. We cut every signal, destroyed every beacon, and vanished. But, the Varn commander said, trembling, your technology then was primitive. Reyes smiled faintly. Yes, primitive, but desperation accelerates evolution. While you celebrated our extinction, we built in silence. We learned to command gravity, bend quantum space, and reshape stars. We built the first dark drives. And when we looked back beyond our barrier, he paused, his voice low. We saw you all still fighting over scraps. The hologram shifted again. The aliens saw human ships in a sleek, black, and fast, darting through clouds of light. They saw whole cities built on the backs of asteroids, surrounded by invisible fields. They saw titanic shipyards in orbit around Neptune, creating vessels larger than moons. Reyes's tone grew softer, almost sad. We watched the galaxy's endless wars. We watched you destroy younger races. We watched you repeat the same arrogance that once burned Earth. So we stayed silent. We learned. We grew. The Cathel envoy's voice shook. You were watching us for thousands of years? Every second, Reyes replied. The alien delegation stood frozen. What they thought was legend now felt like prophecy fulfilled. Humanity had not just survived. They had evolved beyond understanding. Then another hologram appeared. The image of a human woman with white hair and tired eyes. This, Reyes said quietly, was High Chancellor Nova. She was the last leader of Old Earth. It was her plan to vanish. Her order that no human ship would fire again until the galaxy begged for peace. The recording played her voice. They fear us because they do not know us. So let them forget. Let our silence become their comfort. When they have learned humility, when the stars grow quiet, then we shall return. The hall went still. The Sarathi ambassador closed his eyes. She predicted this day. Reyes nodded. She predicted everything. We built the Dominion in her name, not for conquest but for balance. Yet balance is always mistaken for control. The Cathel envoy clicked his mandibles nervously. You could have destroyed us all. Why didn't you? Reyes looked toward the holographic stars. Because destruction is easy. Influence is power. We guided your sciences through whispers, redirected your wars before they reached ruin, and shaped your governments to ensure peace remained possible. You never saw our hand, but you always followed it. The aliens felt the ground beneath them tremble as the holographic floor shifted again. This time it showed thousands of human vessels hidden beneath layers of space distortion, fleets resting inside artificial dimensions. These, said Reyes, are the Guardians, the first of our kind. They are not warships but sentinels. For 1,000 years they have watched every corner of your galaxy, ensuring no species forgets what peace costs. The Varn commander swallowed hard. Then why contact us now? Why reveal this? Reyes walked closer, his boots echoing on the glass floor. He stopped just inches away from the alien leaders and said quietly, because the balance is breaking. There are forces rising in the dark, old enemies of humankind who should never have returned. The Dominion is not expanding, it is preparing. The aliens looked at each other in shock. Preparing? For what? Reyes's eyes glowed faintly, catching the light of the stars above. For war, a war that will burn reality itself if we do nothing. He turned back toward the massive window where Earth shined below, blue and bright. You came to offer peace, he said softly. But peace will not survive what's coming. As the aliens stood frozen, they felt it. A faint vibration through the floor, like the heartbeat of something enormous sleeping beneath their feet. Outside the hall, the orbiting stations began to turn, aligning perfectly with the stars above. The Sarathi whispered, trembling, "What is happening?" Reyes did not answer. He only watched the stars align. The hidden history is ending, he said, and humanity's true era is about to begin. The silent armada. The stars trembled. Across the galaxy, the news spread faster than light. Earth lives. The humans had returned. The Galactic Concord, once proud and united, was now shaken to its core. Every government, every fleet commander, every intelligence network spoke the same words in fear. The Terran Dominion is real. On Asterion Prime, the Concord Council gathered in chaos. Holograms of the Sarathi, Varn, and Cathel leaders filled the chamber, arguing over one another. They deceived us for millennia, shouted the Varn general. They have infiltrated our systems, hissed the Cathel queen. They only showed restraint, said the Sarathi softly. If they wished, we would already be ashes. But no one wanted to believe that. Fear does not listen to reason. Within hours, fleets across the Concord began to mobilize. Hundreds of ships, thousands of weapons, all aimed toward one destination: Sol. The message was simple. Contain Earth before it's too late. The calm. Before the storm, far from the chaos, in the silent orbit above Earth, Admiral Reyes stood within the Dominion command spire. The alien envoy stood behind him, staring at the holographic display showing countless enemy fleets moving toward Sol. They are coming, whispered the Sarathi ambassador. Reyes nodded calmly. Of course they are. Fear always brings the brave. The Cathel envoy's claws trembled. You can't stand against all of them. Every major empire is sending ships. Reyes turned his head slightly. You still don't understand. He looked out the vast window, his voice deep and quiet. They think we are a planet. They forget we are a civilization that once built the stars. The air shifted. The lights inside the spire dimmed. Then, deep beneath the surface of Earth, something began to stir. The oceans rippled. The clouds parted. And from the planet's shadowed side, massive shapes began to rise. At first, they looked like mountains. Then the envoys realized they were ships. Colossal ships. Each one larger than a moon, their surfaces smooth, black, and marked with the emblem of a single burning star, the symbol of the Dominion. The awakening. A deep sound rolled through the void. Not noise, but vibration. a sound felt through bone and metal. One by one, thousands of dark silhouettes appeared across the solar system. From behind asteroids, from the depths of gas giants, from the hidden folds of space itself, humanity's silent armada awakened. The Sarathi envoy stepped back, speechless. By the void, "How many ships are there?" Reyes answered without looking away. "Enough to remind the galaxy why peace exists." The Varn commander's scales shimmered in fear. "These ships, they have no energy signatures. How are they powered?" Reyes's tone was soft but final. "They are not powered. They are alive." The alien envoys turned in horror. The ships pulsed faintly, their hulls glowing like beating hearts. They were made not of metal but of something deeper, a fusion of machine and living matter, the legacy of human genius and madness combined. The galaxy moves. The conquered fleets entered the Sol frontier expecting to see chaos, but instead they saw stillness. The silent armada did not attack. It waited. No transmissions, no weapons, no threats. Just silence. The conquered admiral gave the order. "Advance. Surround the system." But as their ships moved closer, their systems began to fail. Shields flickered. Engines slowed. "Weapons refused to fire. What is happening?" shouted one pilot. "Interference." "No, something's inside our networks," cried another. One by one, the ships froze in place, not destroyed but stopped. Then came a voice. Cold, clear, human. "You have entered restricted Dominion space. You are now disarmed. You will listen." All across the galaxy, every device, on every terminal, every broadcast, every starport, flickered to the same message. It was Admiral Reyes' face, calm and steady. "We warned you. We offered peace. You answered with fear. Now you will see the truth." He raised his hand and the stars behind him shifted. The command of stars from every corner of the galaxy. The constellations moved. Stars flickered, forming patterns, signals, codes, all synchronized. The silent armada was not just a fleet. It was a network stretching across the entire Milky Way. "Your suns," Reyes said. "Your energy, your light. All connected through the systems we built ages ago. You called them natural wormholes. They were not. They were ours." A wave of realization struck the alien fleets. Humanity had never vanished. They had been everywhere, hiding in plain sight, shaping space itself. The Sarathi ambassador whispered, You command the stars." Reyes looked straight into the holographic eyes of the Concord Council. "No," he said quietly. "We guide them, but we will no longer guide you." The silence that follows, and then nothing. Every weapon in the galaxy powered down. Every ship, every station, every cannon, silent. The stars themselves dimmed for one heartbeat. When the light returned, the human fleet was gone. Vanished as if space itself had folded them away. But across every world, a single message burned into every network, in every language. Do not mistake silence for weakness. The aliens looked toward the sky, terrified and awed. The Sarathi bowed his head. "We sought to contain them," he whispered, "but they contained us instead." Admiral Reyes stood once more at his command deck, watching Earth spin below. "Let them think," he said softly. "Let them fear. The lesson is not over." Behind him, the AI voice of the Dominion echoed gently. "Orders, Admiral?" He smiled faintly. "Prepare the next phase. The galaxy is finally listening." The return of humanity, the galaxy was silent. For the first time in 10,000 cycles, every empire stopped talking, stopped fighting, stopped breathing. The message still burned across every sky. Do not mistake silence for weakness. No one knew where the human fleet had gone. No sensors found them. No scanners worked. Yet everywhere humanity's presence was felt. In the pulse of energy grids, in the whispers of machines, in the quiet fear that filled every alien heart. The aftermath weeks passed. The Concord Council met in secrecy, but their voices were hollow. The Varn general slammed his claws on the table. "They could destroy us at any moment. We must strike before they return." The Sarathi ambassador shook his head slowly. "Strike what?" "Empty space?" Even the proud Cathel queen lowered her gaze. "You cannot fight gods." And then, one night, every communication relay in the galaxy came alive. A single transmission spread through every star system, calm, steady, human. Representatives of the conquered are invited to Sol. Come unarmed. Come willing to listen. The journey back to Earth, fear or curiosity, none could tell what truly drove them. But the council agreed. 3 ships, small and unarmed, began their journey back to the blue world that had changed the balance of the cosmos. When they reached the solar border, the void shimmered. Thousands of invisible fields parted like curtains, and there it was again. Earth, shining like a jewel surrounded by rings of light. No human escorts appeared this time. Instead, a gentle pull guided their ships forward. The Cathel commander whispered, "The planet itself is calling us." They descended through layers of white cloud and golden light until they landed on a platform overlooking the ocean. Waiting for them was Admiral Reyes, still calm, still human, but now something more. His uniform glowed faintly with lines of energy, and his eyes reflected starlight. The final meeting. "You came," Reyes said softly. "That means there is hope." The Sarathi bowed. "We have seen your power. The galaxy will obey if you demand it." Reyes smiled faintly. "We do not want obedience. We want remembrance." He gestured, and the platform transformed into a massive holographic field showing the galaxy. Every star glimmered bright. Then slowly, each light connected to another, forming paths, bridges, networks, all leading back to one single point: Earth. "Every civilization you built," Reyes said, "used technology seeded by us. Every code, every engine, every medical cure, all gifts placed quietly by human hands. We never ruled you. We raised you." The Cathel envoy's voice trembled. "Then why reveal yourselves now?" Reyes looked toward the horizon where the sun met the sea. "Because something is coming from beyond our galaxy. Something we fought once when lost." He turned back to them. "We will stand again, but this time not alone." The pledge. The aliens exchanged looks of fear and awe. The Sarathi spoke first. "If humanity commands the stars, then we will follow your command." Reyes stepped closer. "No, you will stand beside us. The age of kings is over. The age of unity begins." Behind him, the sky split open with golden light. The silent armada reappeared, not in attack formation, but in formation of protection. Their hulls shimmered with the reflection of dawn. Across every world, people looked up and saw the same sight: massive Terran ships hovering above their skies, silent guardians watching over every species. A child on a distant colony pointed at the light and asked, "Are they angels?" Her father whispered, "No, they're human." The new Dawn Admiral Reyes raised his hand. The sun rose behind him, flooding the ocean with light. "Tell your people," he said quietly, "that Earth has not returned to rule, only to remind the stars what peace costs." The Sarathi ambassador bowed deeply. "The galaxy is yours, Admiral." Reyes smiled sadly. "It was never ours. It was always all of us. We just had to survive long enough to remember." As the envoys returned to their ships, the sky erupted in light. The armada ascended, disappearing into the upper atmosphere. Across the galaxy, new transmissions echoed. Humans and aliens together, rebuilding, preparing, hoping. And as the stars glowed brighter, one final human message appeared across every world. "Humanity does not rule the galaxy. We guide it." The voice paused. Then quietly, "And we are watching."